everybody. This is Sam Serious. Another video on Greg Tech New Horizons. I just want to let y'all know that I haven't forgotten about Greg Tech New Horizons here. I'm not disregarding this. This is a Minecraft series that I'm for sure going to be continuing on, unlike what I did with a few previous series that I tried to start. Anyhow, been gone for a bit. Things got a little hectic for me with the holidays, but I'll try to keep up the pace now. Plus, I still got a few videos on Factorio to edit out. Anyhow, I've been doing a lot of things with GTNH lately. A little bit of Thaumcraft research, mostly with Thaumcraft, but I also expanded on power infrastructure quite a bit too as well. Also been going crazy with titanium processing. So I got like 32 stacks of titanium ingots now, which should be more than enough for me to get really started with EV tier titanium wise. I've been applying small base optimizations here and there. I made myself a essence berry farm. I was able to get lucky with the crossbreeding and getting a whole bunch of this. So I've been accumulating a lot of XP, and helpful since I got last stand on one of the armor pieces. I also took the time to craft a lot of things. I've crafted myself Amulet V storage. I ain't got the means of charging this yet, at least nothing that I know. I'm still relying off of the primal mushrooms to recharge my wands. I made a bunch of wands to allow myself to have enough discount to create an iron cap silverwood wand. I'm going to eventually be making better versions of these, but things are looking up at that. What's cool too as well is that with this iron cap silverwood wand, I put a maintenance focus on it, which is using a fair amount of Ordo, Terra, and a few other things. Well, I think it uses Terra anyway. Okay, Terra, Ignis, and Ordo. It's not as many usage per device versus just using the tool maintenance box for resolving multi-block maintenance issues, but it at least is an infinite way of repairing stuff without expending materials. I've also redone the AE system too as well. I've moved a whole the ME controller and the drives over towards a more original spot of the base back in LV. I'll get to that in a second. I've meantime, however, discovered something really nice. Magic hand mirror. We cannot make the ender chest right now. That's a Ivy recipe if I recall right. Materials are out of reach for me right now. But magic mirrors, though, are basically a point-to-point item transport. I just use this mirror, supply the items in here, and it'll instantly teleport the items there. Just have them be dropped down to the hopper. The conveyor module would then immediately draw from the hopper to put into the compressed chest as a buffer for an item import bus to put into the item ME system. I went ahead and connected all of these machines to that compressed chest to be able to have the same effects, to have them directly go into the ME system that way. So, for now, I have a decent alternative to an ender chest that allows me to do a whole lot of dungeon raiding without having to overfill my inventories. Uh, I do remember, I don't know if I've made a video about this yet. I think I have. If I haven't, don't quote me on this, but I've had some people tell me that the crop manager can mine 2 blocks above it and 2 blocks below it. I think I may have made an argument that wasn't really finding that to be the case, but then I was doing some block counting here. I think I may have miscounted a few blocks here, so I'm going to be testing that a little bit more eventually. If that is the case, and where three flats are able to be of essence bears are able to be harvested instead of the two, then I've learned something new and must give y'all an update about that, for I may have misled y'all a little. I'll have to test that around to see if I genuinely owe y'all an apology in that regard. I'll do that in the near future. Anyhow, that's another subject matter. I have made myself the electric boots of the traveler. Much better than piston boots. I'm just walking normally at maximum buff speed. Oh, and I do believe I can. Inertia canceling, omni mode. And I can buff the speed. I can even buff the speed of my strafing and backwards movement. So I'm literally moving at a near sprint pace, walking around as if I'm sprinting. And I can go even faster this way. Totally worth it. So this is where I moved all my ME system here. I did double my ME drive capacity for my original ME system was having so many different types of items going into it that it's causing a lot of excessive clogging. So I was able to bridge. So I just wound up trading another 8 ME drives full of 4K storage cells. I was going to expand on fluid storage. However, they've been severely nerfed by increasing the expense of the recipe. The 4K, the fluid storage cells period requires a fluid processor, which requires engraved Lapatronic chips. Now, I can process Lapatronic chips at HV, but to make the Lapatron necessary for those chips, I need a IV assembler. Not to mention give it HV circuitry. I'm not immediately ready to make a EV assembler yet. Or did I say IV? I meant EV. My apologies, I misspoken. I'm thankful I crafted all the fluid cells when I did. Because this nerf by increased expense in 1.7 in GTNH 1.7, it's really got me cursing internally right now. Anyhow, give me a second. One of my next steps here is to add more arcane assemblers to make going up and down a lot easier. I did add more Pyrolyse ovens. So I added 8 more. I'm using the old LV energy hatches to power these. So that has fixed my benzene net loss issue. I hate pollution. I did place down even more HV crop managers in these flats here. Connected back to the crop managers, of course. If it turns out that I can harvest more layers of crops at a time, then that means I could potentially expand this even further. But for now, I added 8 HV crop managers into the wood production. I've relocated to 4 HV crop managers to be incorporated with this tower outside the pollution zone here, so that way none of the farmland gets turned into dirt. I'm going to go ahead and sleep here real quick so I can show what happened. The Essence Farm, it is using an MV crop manager. I still have yet to repurpose the other crop managers, but yeah, I cannibalized the 2 towers. I've added the top floor to the base here now. I will be adding a sloped ceiling to this eventually, but for now that's on hold. But at least I got a ceiling going to cover up the rest of the at least provide a quick ceiling for everything. This way I can actually start placing down machines without having to worry about rain raining on them. The MV Arcane levitators I had here, I've repurposed for a spot that I know for a fact I'll be raising a little myself quite often at. This will raise me all the way to the top floor. And it's at a perfect height too as well. But yeah. So I got the top floor made, creating the ceiling here. I'm getting some serious parking lot vibes here. Because of the fact, oh, and this detail that y'all have been noticing already, I'd imagine, but I've been able to, because of the fact that Angelica and stuff has more solid support for shaders now, I'm able to do GTNH with shaders, so seems to me I'm able to do this at a decent 60 frames per second. I'm looking at OBS right now with the 12 minutes of doing this here, and I'm seeing that I'm doing 60 FPS on average there too as well. I'm going to have to look back to the videos to see if the quality is not so jittery that way. Time will time will tell when it comes to video editing this video. So I made decent headways with Thaumcraft here. Oh, this is I did make more alchemical furnaces for arcane emblems to make a bunch of essentially necessary to create all the electric boots and certain components with, such as wands and the mirrors with. Separate system outside of that, plus to helps make sure that the niter system is completely isolated from niter production is completely isolated from the rest of things, so I don't have to cannibalize the system too much. I've learned something really nice about primal mushrooms. Fertilized dirt will increase the tick rate which these plants will mature. Additionally, a sprinkler seems to be increasing the growth rate of the primal mushrooms too as well. So I'm able to recover feed a lot more quicker with the wand. So fertilized dirt and a sprinkler with water going into this is definitely worth the investment. Man, this is already awarding me plenty of XP. Tell you one thing, this many berries already is enough to get me quickly to level 30 fast multiple times over. And that's just me being away for it for like a good 10 minutes. I would imagine I'd be going to level 50 with all those going into me already. So, I've been going big on Thaumcraft, researched more things, expanded power production. I will be adding more powerless ovens, 8 more, but those 8 being exclusive for oil production. It is possible to turn wood logs into oil, and I could then have a renewable way of generating oil. Of course, I'll still be maintaining my power strategy where I'm using benzene to power base essential equipment such as the ME system and means of power generation, but I still be using high octane gas for something that is not power essential for the base. So ore processing will be using it as well as the rest of the machine walls. Let me gather more rutile to keep that production going. I'm trying to multitask as I go. Do get me some titanium. I've actually been processing so much titanium. I actually got too much titanium tetrachloride right now. That's where all my chloranium's going to. So I'm going to eventually get to a point where I just have to stop producing titanium and using all the magnesium to produce titanium, hot titanium ingots out of the EBFs here. At this point, I might as well start automating a way of exporting things from importing things to the EBFs automatically and exporting things from the EBFs automatically. I got the connections to be able to do that. That's for a future change for make things easier so I can manage things through a lot easier through the ME system. Of course, I'm still going to be hand feeding certain resources into the EBFs. Now, there is something big that I've done. So, I progressed towards the end. I've managed to defeat the Ender Dragon without having to use any reliable flight gear, just the Ender and the hang glider. I've gotten feedback that fighting the Ender Dragon is easy. I got news for y'all. It is anything but easy without flying gear. Alright, so I got enough pearls for that portal. Clearly, I haven't done mob proofing this area. I guess I'm going to end prematurely. Okay, take some time for this dimensional load up, I'd reckon. I don't have flying stuff, but at least I got the means with a glider and an ender. I should probably do this. So that's the ender dragon. Lag is real. McNasty here. I mean, I got the armor to survive its attacks. Bolts weren't so heavy right now. You just want to be aggressive towards me for a bit now. Oop. Got the Mirage Enderman. Does a lot of damage. Tell you that much. And it's put a good dent in my armor. And I've aggroed another Enderman, I bet. Oh. You know, it's a problem. The train around you is difficult to navigate. I'm just gonna regen some health for a bit. There's no reason to take up a whole lot of last stand. Besides, I'd much rather. Oh, am I safe in the clouds? Okay, I'm just gonna have to hope that I don't lose all my XP. Great, do I have my lifesteal charge on me? No, I don't. Jeez Louise. Ender Dragon is a force to reckon with. I definitely recommend flying gear. Yeah, my arm is taking a good beating from all this. I wish I didn't have vanadium bolts on me right now. Sit back, regen some health for a little bit. I'll tune the video back on as soon as I pretty much have enough health again. Alright, so I'm fully healed up. Time to go back to heck here. So, yeah, I really wish I'm not using vanadium bolts right now because it's making it hard for me to lead my shot, especially considering that the bolts doesn't really do that much damage against a dragon. Where are you? Where are you? I'm gonna try to ride a foot. Or not. I can take down a dragon this way. The clouds will protect me from explosions, just how the mechanics of the game works. Oh, fuck. Piss off. So as long as I keep moving, I should be fine. The dragon is very passive right now for some strange reason. It's probably gunning on the... Oop. That's being extra conservative. I mean, you can't take another hit. Right. Yeah, this dragon. This dragon's a force to reckon with. Oh my god. So I took down all. You have to take down all the end crystals. I try to preserve a few end crystals, just never know when you'll need them, especially for these mod packs. Plus, it would be cool stag things, but not with this kind of fight. The Ender Dragon is too potent. And there's the Draconic Heart. Whew. I never scanned Bedrock, huh? I'm surprised. Now that I got a lot of these Enderman as an option to spawn, I can go ahead and... Yeah, definitely bring some flying gear and something that will really enhance your mobility. Only thing that reason why I stayed alive with this whole fight is because of the Last Stand enchantment. 121 levels though. Imagine that. Yeah, like I'm still using just the regular chainmail armor and all that with all the decent enchantments on it, and I still was getting torn up by that dragon. But this fight kind of proves they do not really need the good armor, such as the nanosuit and all that. Though, I strongly recommend it, though. Well, I don't know if I don't know how effective it is on GTNH, so I can't even make that recommendation, but still, shucks. Teeny weeny little guy. Are you a little teeny weeny guy? So cute. Hard to hit. That mirror is so nice, and I know it's going directly into the ME system too. Ooh, this must be draconium. Terra, that's it. Wish I had the chance to scan the ore though. Not ore, but the crystals though. But not with the dragon doing its thing here. So I'm just going to go around, explore around a little bit here, and share more findings in the end here. The only thing that kept me alive was a high level of XP and the last stand enchantment. Anything without advanced damage mitigation and advanced DPS against the dragon, yeah, not gonna last long. If you're wanting to get the inner dragon before like pre-nano armor stuff like that and before flight gear stuff like that, make sure the armor piece you're using is fully repaired with last stand on it. I have lost some armor pieces in the fight, so I did have to go through the anvil to fix it. But yeah, I pretty much found the stronghold necessary, raided a few libraries. And now I'm officially able to reach the end. I kept Silverfish Barn alive because I might find it handy, possibly. I have customized shaders where lights will be slightly more vibrant, but in darker environments, the colors will be slightly desaturated. But yeah, as y'all can see, the Ender Dragon mess was a flat out mess to deal with. The Ender Dragon fight. I actually had to fall back for a while and regenerate some health and revise my strategy. I eventually just basically said, you know what? Armor's running low on durability. Won't have last stand forever. Replenish the ammunition that I've spent on the crossbows trying to deal with the towers without any completely reliable flight gear. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? Take out all the crystals and just flat out hit the dragon with the crossbow. I can tell you this much. It's hard because when you weaken the dragon enough, you got lightning going all over the place, but you also have Enderman spawning all around you, already aggroed at you, so you're already contending with that hitting you. But I got the dragon without any solid flight gear. Fair amount of XP and last stand. That's what was saving me. If should I ever have to restart GTNH again, I'm definitely come back to the end with reliable flight gear on top of last stand. I do have the dragon egg. I did establish an orchard. I do have a lot of means of producing paper, stuff like that. Something I noticed with 1.7, with 2.7, GTNH 2.7 is that nutrition matters now. It will dip below 50% and cause debuffs from now malnourishment. Before I was exploiting the food cans before, can't do that anymore at a holistic means. So I'm back on making Pam Harvest Crafts foods again, but you know what? It was worth it. I was able to break 80 HP, not to mention that the nutrition has given me an additional 8 HP. And I got enough food crafted up to where I can go crazy, but where I can just add more. Because of the fact I got more backpack stuff like that and means of handling backpack stuff and all that, and oh, the cape. Yeah, I can go for Mantle of the Raven, but I'm only seeing benefits for gliding. I ain't got a reliable means of flying it, so I just went for the cape of Cloak of Voluminous Pockets rather than Cloak of the Raven. Should be able to should be able to open it and access my inventory that way. So I just have slightly more carrying space now. So that's pretty much a quick update and speed about this. Future plans. Obviously, more powerless ovens for oil production. Oil production, I have no problems going directly into the ME system due to my power strategy. Um, I might expand more on the wood production because of that, but not as much as I was thinking I would have. Should I be able to confirm that I am able to harvest 3 rows of crops versus 2? Me personally, having to set up that many crop managers with with that many crop sticks was way more tedious than what I would like to. Like I literally had to take a break from GTNH because of that, especially when I accidentally spill water and wind up having to wipe everything out a few times. I don't ever want to touch crop sticks again, but I have a feeling I will be touching them again at some point. But yeah, more powerless ovens for oil, so that way I have a renewable means of producing hog, minus a certain recipe for acetone production. I do believe I need propene, benzene, um, phosphoric acid, and water to produce the acetone. Yeah, propene, benzene, phosphoric acid. Oh, and oxygen. Now I am able to produce acetic acid infinitely, so I got means of producing that in large quantity through that alone. Though acetic acid is being produced at a trivial amount. Though I can combine carbon monoxide and methanol to create it. I am wanting to go crazy with LCRs. I'm going to be creating a lot of LCRs to line up on specific walls for specific chemical productions. I got enough for like tetrafluoral polytetrafluoroethylene here. But I'm also wanting to start creating a whole lot of silicane too as well. That silicone plastic is going to be needed a lot with EV. Not to mention that a lot of the ME components will be needing it too as well, especially the dense cables. The dense cables will be needing anything better than rubber. I can make I can make a lot of the covered ME glass cables with rubber sheets, but when it comes to the dense covered ME cables, I will need the silicone dimethyl for that silicone plastic. I'm going to call that stuff the silicone plastic just to make things easy. And plus, two, it would be a renewable. It'll be a means of being able to produce a large amount of that for EV tier. Wouldn't surprise me if Ivy would use it though. I haven't dipped into Ivy yet, so don't quote me on that. I also want to start replacing chemical reactors too as well. I think when I was updating all the buses, I kind of broke production for making solar grade silicon. I have to be more manual with this now because of that. But I will be replacing a lot of the chemical reactors with LCRs to be able to produce things more solidly. Plus, too, if I'm able to do what I think I can, I should be able to perhaps mitigate the amount of fluid export buses stuff necessary to make all that necessary to manage the fluid routing, which will help save channels. I do plan on moving the fluid channels, the fluid ME network to oh crap, work drives me nuts. I did plan on moving the fluid network, ME network, into this area too as well. This room here, I'm thinking I might as well convert it into my next ME server room. Just having these bits, these having ME drives with ME cells in them stored in here. Of course, within their own respective ME drives and all that. Of course, with their own independent ME controllers. I want to create three separate networks, one for handling items, another for handling fluids, and another for handling essentia. Yes, I'm talking about adding an ME system for essentia, but to make these cells for essentia storage, same problem as the fluid storage cells. Lapatronic crystals. For now, I got the items here working in workable condition, but I will be needing to expand the enemy controller at some point, which means I'm going to have to figure out how to relocate the enemy controllers. So that's three separate networks through an enemy controller that's going to be routed all over the place by a central item distribution network. And thanks to P2B, as I mentioned in the previous episodes, I'm able to consolidate a bunch of channels into one through a separate ME network here. So my carrier network. What I'm inclined to do though is I'm going to be eventually be changing even the carrier network. What I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be branching out down at the basement levels of my base and then having the dense ME cables branch their way up to compensate for the layers for each floors of the base. I may have to add multiple lines going up and across depending on how many buses I need to put into certain machines to keep things going, but I do have a general idea on what I want to do with the ME network. I haven't fully decided where I want to put the ME controller for the carrier network at. I'm thinking more towards the even deeper bottom of the base, so that way I can have a more towards the middle of the base here, so that way I can have a means of having the space I need to manage the ME controllers to add more channels as needed. Gives me plenty of space to make the ME controller even bigger. So that's multiple ME servers that are able to sync together independently. Of course, that means I will also have to supply it with plenty of power. But at this point, not a concern right now. I do want to add more crackers, oil crackers, towards oil production here, because I'm noticing that there's different types of cracking. You got your hydrogen cracking, lightly steam cracking, and then your heavy steam, heavy steam cracking stuff. So I'm going to be winding up adding way more of the oil cracking units here. That's for a distant project. I'm going to be maintaining the same strategy as have of having this side be strictly power production. I'm actually kind of leaning more towards having this area be further for power production. So I'm entertaining the possibility that I may want to start moving the EBFs. Now the compressor system here, I'm going to keep right here. The nitrogen is essential for power production. I'm going to try to transition away from single block machines and go for multi-blocks as I go, because I find that multi-blocks are are a lot more easier to handle with fluid handling versus going single blocks where I have to do shenanigans with the fluid cells. I don't want to be having to tax my brain on doing all that. Making making using using the single block chemical reactors with the for tetrafluoro polytetrafluoroethylene was a bit of a headache as is, and even then I was having issues or it stalled itself out due to unnecessary clogging. I'm going to be upgrading the macerators here and creating a few multi-block macerators. I'm thinking on doing the same thing with the centrifuges. I made one centrifuge, I can make more. I don't know if I'm able to make a multi-block version. Actually, I can, but I don't think I got the means of being able to make them. I'm going to eventually be turning ore processing into multi-block structures. So I want to go big with multi-block structures. Plus, two, it would give a more industrial feel in here. I'm starting to think that should I progress towards EV, that going me to be replacing a lot of the LV machines with EV equipment. I don't know. I haven't decided what to do with this machine work wall yet. I'm using all the HV machines more than anything. Sometimes the NV, very seldom with the LV machines anymore. I've gotten to a point where I've by far graduated out of LV tier. The only reason why I would use LV tier is to get something going that it's not extremely important passively, like what I'm doing with creating stone dust out of cobblestone for a bunch of dusts. This is where I was getting all the sluice juice and stuff. One of these dusts anyway was able to I think get the sluice juice necessary to extract rutile for to get the titanium produced out of a trickle. I got plans here. I got more things to think about. Um, I got the mirrors. I got an automatic depositing system where I can, oh, not automatic, but a remote depositing system. Yeah, I got other things to think about, so things are starting to branch out even further with this playthrough. Anyhow, y'all, this is a bit of a long video. I'm going to be adding like the video strips I've added into this. I imagine this video is even longer than expected. Actually, not expected, but more like what I'm projecting. At least with the Ender Dragon fight and a few other things. I eventually will want to see if I can get away with using nano armor. I want to do my research with nano equipment and see if how well it does. Like, if it's able to give me as much survivability versus the armored piece with Last Stand 2 on it, then I can see that being a worthy investment for me. But if it's But if it doesn't give me that same survivability, though, then I might as well just stick with wearing at least one piece with last stand on it. I know it's iron, I know it's like early game in comparison, but I'd much rather have the guarantee card that nothing's going to easily kill me. I at this point have a lot of XP to generate to work with now, especially with the Essence Berry Farm working here. I can even start going crazy on enchanting things now, depending on what's going on. Anyhow, y'all, I will produce another episode of GTNH to get things really going, especially towards EV. I want to start progressing towards EV soon, and then to better plan out what to do with my ME networks afterwards. That is, of course, once I get oil production going. Renewable oil production going, that is. Never thought I'd ever say renewable oil. And plus two, before that, I want to add more arcane levitators all over the place. I want to improve the quality of life on this space a little bit more. Probably thinking I went crazy with the chisel cobblestone with the flooring stuff like that. Yep, I did a whole lot of clearing at my basement floor here. But the Thumbcraft wands that's using the equivalent exchange focus. I know I got a wand that has the equivalent exchange focus somewhere. Very strong utility for building, especially if you want to quickly swap out a block without taking the time to mine it. You can just right click it on the ground to flood fill it a good bunch, or you can just simply left click it to select one individual block. That's going to be a very helpful utility to do some detailing, especially with the cobblestone floors I want to start off with. I do know the top layer above is solid chiseled cobblestone. I want to be able to swap off the stuff with stone bricks that are at the panel texture, just to maintain the overall feel of the base. Now, in terms of the architecture blocks, they're going to be a nightmare to deal with. That's a can of worms I'll be dealing with slowly as I do go things. I'll have to see how the multi-blocks go and sculpt around the multi-blocks. Anyhow, y'all, thanks for sticking around with this series so far, y'all. Appreciate y'all's support, and I will see y'all. I will the next video on Greg Tech New Horizons will be when I start making a push for EV stuff and all that. Anyhow, I will on Greg Tech New Horizons. I will see y'all then. Haven't forgotten about Factorio. Take care, y'all.